When we're selling liberty, what are our differentiators? Let's talk about that.
Focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to The Brian Nichols Show.
Well, hey there, folks. Brian Nichols here on The Brian Nichols Show. Yes, thank you for joining us on, of course, another fun-filled episode. I am, as always, your humble host. Yes, joining you live from the Stratus IP studios here in lovely Eastern Indiana. Don't let outdated technology or cyber attacks put your business technology at risk. Go to briannicholsshow.com/Stratus IP and go ahead and get your free business technology consultation today. One more time at briannicholsshow.com/Stratus IP. Folks, it's you and me today, one-on-one. I'm excited to have this conversation because I have been busy. First of all, I owe you an apology. I have not seen you guys for 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was out on the East Coast visiting the day job HQ out in Philadelphia. So was unfortunately unable to sit down, have enough time to get some episodes out. But don't worry, we have some amazing episodes coming up for you, not just the end of this week, but also into next week. Also, I was very busy this past weekend. I was the master of ceremonies up at the Libertarian Party of Illinois. They had their state convention / Gala. Had a great time up there. And also that leads to the question today of what we sell when we are selling our libertarian ideas, and specifically, what are our differentiators? So we're going to talk about that. But first, want to go ahead and give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Right Strategies. Now, folks, if you are a candidate or if you are a business owner, you know the challenges you face as you're going out trying to make a difference in not just the world of your business, but also if you're a candidate in the world of politics. So what do? What can you do to help amplify your message where both your voters, but also your customers are spending their time? Well, look no further. We have a great partner for you, and that is Right Strategies, who is going to help specialize in the unique challenges of both running political campaigns as well as running your small businesses in the digital landscape. And thank God they have a proven track record of helping clients win both their elections, but also growing their businesses using smart, strategic digital marketing, being a perfect partner to help you reach all of your goals. They have an amazing team of experts that'll help you save time and money while amplifying your message to help you win your elections and also win in the marketplace. By the way, they have a great SMS texting tool giving you an efficient, affordable, and smart means to focus your marketing budget, giving you reach to tens of thousands of voters and customers, giving a powerful impact on the outcome of your elections and business growth. So, folks, from social media management to expert graphic design work to marketing your product or campaign, heck, to even helping build your brand and finding your differentiators, Right Strategies can help put together a plan that makes sense for your goals and do so within your budget. So if you want to learn more about how Right Strategies can help you win your elections and grow your business, head to briannicholsshow.com/RS. You're going to get your free, yeah, I said free, everybody loves free, campaign or free marketing plan report card. And again, all you got to do to make sure you get that is to let Morgan and the team over at Right Strategies know that I sent you. Again, briannicholsshow.com/RS, amplifying your message where voters and customers spend their time. All right, folks. So yes, back to today's episode. So first of all, yeah, I've been busy. I've missed you guys like crazy. The world's been wild over the past few days as I've been away. I noticed we had a couple debates here. John Fetterman versus Mehmet Oz. That was interesting to say the least. It was very uncomfortable to see someone who obviously is struggling with their ability to speak in the terms of John Fetterman. Yeah, so a stroke will do that to you. And the fact that he's on stage, there's some folks who are cheering it. I'm of the mindset of, what are we doing? Seems like it's borderline abusive behavior, having someone who quite clearly is having trouble being able to articulate what they're talking about, what ideas they have, what they're responding to, quite literally in real time. And it was obvious to everybody that was the case. So yeah, I don't really see that campaign going too hot for Fetterman. But don't worry, Democrats have called in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to help save the day. So yeah, I know the Democrats are doing one last Hail Mary, but I think it's going to end up turning out to, if you are a fan of football, whenever they do the last play of the game and the last team that's got the ball, trying to get the ball to the goal line, they'll do anything they can. They'll start throwing screen passes back and forth. I feel it's going to be one of those plays, but it's not the one that actually ends up going for the touchdown. It's the one that ends up being a fumble, and then a big fat offensive lineman like I used to be back in the day ends up falling on it, and the game is over. So that's where we stand with a lot of our political stuff. And then also, let's kind of turn that into libertarians, right? Hey, libertarians, this episode is for you, as most episodes are. So I was up at the LP of Illinois. First of all, phenomenal event. Had a great time. Got to hang out with everybody. I was the master of ceremonies. We had three guest speakers, not counting the keynote speaker, which was one former Congressman, Justin Amash, who was the only sitting Libertarian congressman. And he talked about specifically the differentiators that he thinks are winning arguments for liberty, for libertarians, as we're going out into the marketplace, if you will, trying to win, in this case, our political goals. And in this case, Justin had really three things that he said were the libertarian differentiators, and I don't necessarily agree. And here they are. But I'm going to talk about why. So the number 1, 2, and 3 things that Justin brought forth in terms of what we libertarians should claim as our own when we're doing our messaging, but also when we're going out and we're speaking to prospective voters. And number 1 was democracy, and the idea of libertarians being the carriers of the classical liberal founding father approach to what democracy is, right? That democratic approach, democratic republicanism is actually what Justin spoke about. And then number 2 was the Constitution. And number 3 was the Bill of Rights. So that's all well and good, right? And I want to start out, I don't think that Justin is wrong with that being things that libertarians can get on board with. The Constitution, as Justin rightfully says, is easily the most libertarian constitution you'll ever find in the wild, right? The Bill of Rights, as a part of our Constitution, an amendment to the Constitution, is again part of the most libertarian document you're going to find. And with that, Justin believes that that should be something that we libertarians are carrying forward in our messaging, and that we can differentiate with the 2 different parties, the Republicans and Democrats, because they're not really promoting that as their main things that they believe in. Okay. Well, first of all, I will say the Democrats have absolutely taken that to be one of their main arguments going into the election. Voting for the Democratic Party is the only means of defending democracy, and that's the claim, right? So I would disagree a little bit there with Justin. I don't think that's really the case. I think actually you do see one party trying to make democracy the calling card. But then to the other point Justin tried to make to reaffirm why he believes that these issues should be our issues, our libertarian issues. And he said, well, if you look at a majority of Americans, they agree with us. They like the idea of democracy. They like the Constitution. They like the Bill of Rights. And that's fine. But that doesn't mean that people will vote for things they like. And here's the truth. We have to figure out what it is that's going to push people to vote. Everybody likes ice cream, but you're not always going to sell ice cream on the fact that everybody just likes ice cream. The same thing is true with democracy and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It's one thing to just say, yeah, we like those things and we believe in those things, but people are not motivated and moved to vote for those things. So what do we know people are moved to vote on, right? And we talk about this all the time here at the Brian Nichols Show. Go out and ask them, right? And we've been doing that when we've had candidates on the program. They're going out and talking to folks every single day. And what do we consistently hear? You know it, folks. If you listen to the Brian Nichols Show, if you are part of the tens of thousands of folks who join us every single month, then you know that the top issues we hear are, number 1, cost of living, inflation, gas prices. I mean, just anything to do with the general economy. Folks are scared. They don't know if they're going to be able to pay for the bills, if they're going to be able to put food in the grocery cart, if they're going to be able to do the extra things they want to do with the family. There's really hard decisions that families are going to have to make, but seemingly feel that it's beyond their control, because a lot of those extra forces that are out there that are impacting them directly are things that are being done to them that are beyond the political process, like the Fed printing trillions and trillions of dollars. So these are top of mind issues. Folks are really focused on that. And again, not trying to pick on Justin too much, but are folks really concerned right now with democracy? Maybe in Justin's immediate circles, but not in your average American family conversation at the dinner table. So now what folks are really concerned about. Go down to the southern border. You're going to hear folks talk about the impact of immigration. And this is not a libertarian conversation about open borders, closed borders. It's a reality, though, right now that people down in the southern border of the United States are facing an immigration crisis, and it's not being discussed, nor is it being addressed. Go up to the northern border, my home neck of the woods up in northern New York, and you have drug cartels coming from the Canadian border across areas like the St. Lawrence River into northern New York, and then disseminating their fentanyl-laced drugs into our communities. Again, we're not talking about libertarian answers to these issues, but rather that these are things that we have to talk about. And libertarians seem to like to avoid talking about the things that do end up being top of mind issues. So instead, what we need to do is, I think, focus on those top of mind issues. But and this is the other part too, it's not a one size fits all approach. Now, if you're running for president, I think there are certain things you should be focusing on, like those issues that we were just talking about here, like the economy, like immigration, heck, like our involvement. Are we going to help lead everything to World War III, right? With our involvement in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. These are things that a national candidate should be talking about. But when you're running for your local offices, when you're running for your state offices, you should be meeting people where they're at. Say it, on the issues they care about. I know you know the line at this point, but no, truly, we need to meet people where they're at on the issues that they care about. If you're a voter, you want to know that your candidate that you're casting your vote for actually has your best interests in mind. We talk about this all the time. At least I did when I would lead my sales team. Everybody is tuned in to the same radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? If you're a candidate running for office, you need to be answering that question first. And if you're not answering that question first for your constituents, you shouldn't be a candidate. We have to start talking to people about the issues they care about if we ever expect them to start caring about the issues that we care about. So I say all that. I like Justin. I think Justin is easily, and he talked about this, right? If Justin Amash, can't be libertarian enough for the Libertarian Party, then who is? And I'm not challenging Justin on his libertarian bona fides, but rather I am challenging the approach and our focus, right? And listen, who am I? All right, I'm a sales guy. I'm a sales guy who focuses on cybersecurity and telecommunications. I train business owners. I train sales teams. I train individual sales reps. Okay, I get it. I haven't sat in office for 10 years in Congress. Granted, he did so as a big R Republican, and he's trying to help us big L libertarians. I get it, right? But at the same point in time, there are things that we use and that we do in the private sector. This is something I talked about when I was on Tim Pool, right? We use these sales and marketing approaches that we know work in the private sector and seemingly neglect to do so when we turn into the political sector. And then, as a matter of fact, many times in the libertarian camp, not only do we not do the sales and marketing approach to what we know works, but we do the opposite. We try to feature and benefit people to death. We try to good idea people to death. It doesn't work. It doesn't sell. What sells is meeting people on the issues that they care about, where they're at, right? On the issues they care about. I got to get my own saying right. But if we don't do that, somebody else is going to. And what they're going to do is they're going to lead with fear and answer that emotional trigger that they've now started on that prospect, and they're gonna answer it with their own solution. And if we respond to that narrative, we're playing their game, which is why we had to start setting our own narratives. Stop responding to the narratives the left and the right are setting for us to respond to, and instead change the conversations. Oh man, you want to see a job well done? Go check out some of our past friends here on the show. I say past friends as if they're not still current friends. Shane Hazel, freaking knocked it out of the park in his gubernatorial debate down there in Georgia with Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams. And you want to see a textbook example of setting narratives. Shane did not respond to the framing of gun rights, for example, as the way that Stacey Abrams wanted it to be framed as. What Shane did was frame the gun debate as saying, hey, Stacey, that the most guns that were purchased over the past few years have been done by black Americans. That changes the conversation a little bit, right? That reframes the narrative versus having Stacey set some narrative about gun deaths and try to make some fear-mongering statements of how we have to ban AR-15s and handguns, and then soon it'll be butter knives. But instead of having to say, no, we shouldn't do that because we have a Second Amendment and the XYZ, why we're right. No, right? I'm sorry, Justin. Again, Constitution's great, but that's not what people want to hear in terms of our responding to the narrative. What they want to hear is, no, stop. Everybody has the right to defend themselves. And as a matter of fact, the people who are defending themselves are the people who you are rightfully pointing out as folks who have been the most not only focused against by their governments and fought against by their governments, but those individuals who now have an ability to defend themselves on par with those folks who, in many cases, were the ones who unilaterally had the guns. So we're changing the conversation, we're changing the narratives, and it requires us to do so instead of responding and playing the same game that they're playing. So, 16-minute episode, a little bit shorter of an episode. I hope you guys got some value from that. And again, I just want to reiterate, I think Justin is a great voice for liberty. I think he's got a great head on his shoulders in terms of how to actually make political success happen when we get folks into elected office. How do we work through those channels? But in terms of our strategy, I think the sales guy here might have it right this time. I don't know, just my 2 cents. If you think so, I would love to hear about it. Please do me a favor. Number one, head down here below to our comment section. If you're joining us over on YouTube, Rumble, or Odyssey, let me know your thoughts. Am I in the right ballpark? Is this how we sell liberty? I think we've been doing it effectively here on the Brian Nichols Show. I know when I was on Tim Pool, I had literally like hundreds of folks. My inbox was flooded for weeks of folks reaching out, both in the political world, but also in the private sector world, saying, yes, thank you. I've been waiting for somebody in the liberty world to talk about this kind of stuff. So I think we're doing something right. And I'm hoping if you guys get some value from that, well, hey, here's some things you can do to help support the show. Number one, I've been really focusing on how can we give you guys a way to support the show while also getting something back. And I said, you know what? Let's give you guys some stuff that you can go ahead and purchase and rock and wear, right? So here I'm actually wearing, if you're joining us on the video version of the show, our Magic Money Tree shirt. Here, I'll lean to the side so you can see it. With the Fed as the tree. If you want to go ahead and get the Magic Money Tree shirt, plus we have a bunch of other shirts over at briannicholsshow.com/shop. Like we have our Liberty Legends shirt. We have our What Happened in 1971 shirt. Now that's what I call tyranny with Klaus Schwab shirt, and our Michael Scott 2024 shirt, and more. Head over to briannicholsshow.com/shop. But just do me a favor. Make sure you use code TBNS at checkout, and you'll get I think it's 15% discount, 20% discount. I don't know. Double check, use the code. This is one way you can double check is just go ahead and use the code at checkout, and you'll find out there. But everything that you go ahead and purchase over at the Proud Libertarian shop, it all goes right back here to the Brian Nichols Show, but also to help supporting a libertarian business. Number one. Number two, for the Brian Nichols Show, there's a couple of different ways you can support the program, and it doesn't have to be a $5 a month, $10 a month kind of thing. Now, if you want to do that, I encourage you, head over to briannicholsshow.com/support, hit our Patreon option. You can join us, become a supporting listener. I greatly appreciate it. Plus, you get behind the scenes scoop in terms of our morning sales huddle. Plus, I'll do a monthly Q&A with you guys. So make sure, of course, when you're over there, submit your questions to me. Or number two, if you like, hey, I like the Brian Nichols Show. I checked out today's episode and I got some value. Go ahead, give me a one-time PayPal donation. Even though PayPal is annoying the heck out of me. Apparently, they put the $2,500 fine back into their terms of agreement for spreading misinformation. So yeah, we're going to be looking for a different way to do that. But in the meantime, one-time PayPal donation over at briannicholsshow.com/support, $5, $20, $100. I don't care. Everything goes right back into the show. It means a lot to me because it means we can keep the lights on quite literally here at the studios for their Stratus IP studios. But number two, It allows us to have amazing conversations like we're having today. Allows me to go to events like I went to this past weekend, so I can talk about things that I heard and things that I think should be doing better, but also allows me to have guests on that I know you guys have enjoyed, because it leaves you educated, enlightened, and informed. So with all that being said, thank you for joining us. I really, really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for your patience as I was out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But I'm back, and I'm excited to continue talking about how can we sell liberty. Again, if you got some value from today's episode, beyond all the different ways you can support the show, the other way you can do it at $0 is just to go ahead and give us a share, to paraphrase / steal Tim Pool's expression, be the notification, share the show with your friends. And when you go ahead and share the show, tag yours truly, wherever it is, Twitter, Facebook, minds.com, Parler, I don't know, everything else out there, just tag me at B Nichols Liberty. Other than that, folks, thank you for joining us. And we had some amazing episodes last week. I'll go ahead and include them right here below. Go ahead, click the link. It'll bring you right to those episodes if you're joining us here on the video version of the show. And by the way, as I'm heading out, make sure you hit that subscribe button and little notification bell so you don't miss a single episode as we go live. All right, that's all I have for you guys. That being said, it's Brian Nichols signing off here on the Brian Nichols Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Listening to the Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.